Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Reviews from the Crypt. You ever look in the mirror and get a sudden rush of fear? You see a new wrinkle, a new blemish. You start to look your age. Time is creeping in on you and it's all going to end. I mean, I myself am no looker. I have crow's feet, I got frown lines, I got gray in my beard, and I'm only 22. Well, in tonight's tale, the Crypt Keeper tells us a story about greed and vanity, and how beauty has a price. Beauty is only sin deep. Sin Deep was directed by Howard Dutch. Howard Dutch, he directed films such as Pretty in Pink, The Replacements, Whole 10 Yards, and he even directed a few episodes of True Blood. Well, in this story, we follow a beautiful woman who goes by the name of Sylvia Vane. And Sylvia Vane, she was portrayed by the lovely Leah Thompson. You may recognize Leah Thompson as Marty McFly's hot mom from Back to the Future. She was also in Jaws 3D and in Red Dawn. Well, tonight we follow Sylvia on sort of a rags to riches tale. It's pretty much the plot of Pretty Woman. This episode came out in 1989, while Pretty Woman came out 1 year later. And that was written by a guy named J.F. Lawton. Well, I'm wondering if J.F. Lawton was a Tales from the Crypt fan and saw this episode and decided, hey, this will make a blockbuster film. I'm gonna steal this shit. I'm gonna make a movie of my own. Fuck you. Because it's very similar. It really does follow the same premise, and it's just the only difference is this is a darker twist than Julia Roberts and Richard Gere. Anyway, the episode opens up with Sylvia walking the streets of I think it's Manhattan, and she's trying to offer up her services for tonight, but she's striking out. She's not getting any dates, she's not getting any clients or anything like that. She's probably thinking, what's going on? It can't be my personality. I'm a gem. I'm a delight. Anybody would be lucky to have me tonight. So, you know, we're gonna go powder our nose, make sure we're looking good tonight so we can make some money. Well, and as we're doing our little beauty check in the mirror, in walks Sylvia's lovely coworker, Raven. Raven's here just kind of give her a little pep talk and, you know, just shoot the shit of how tonight's going. But it's a little cold tonight, so we're gonna warm up, go get ourselves a little coffee, make sure our shit is nice, hot, and fresh like Little Caesars. Pizza. And as we're on our way to go warm up, we run into Raven's manager, Big Daddy Kane. Or, I mean, that's just what I like to call him. Big Daddy Kane's a wonderful character. No, he's not. He gives me the vibes of a young Eddie Murphy, if Eddie Murphy was in the Black Panther Party. But dude, his outfit is actually just so slick. He's got that fucking combat beret on. He's got a slicker. He's got just like, he looks like he could throw down as a pimp. So Big Daddy Kane's here to come get his money. He's collecting tonight from one of his what do you call him? I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want to call her hoe, but he comes gets his money from his hoe. Well, as he's getting his cut, he notices Sylvia, and he's just thinking, looks like you could use a manager. I guess Sylvia is just tough enough to where, you know, I don't need no manager. I fought off Biff. If you don't know who Biff is, you don't know who you're messing with. And Big Daddy Kane don't like being told no. There's like, listen here, sweet thing. You know, it could be dangerous out here and you could use some protection. And they get kind of getting this just little scuffle, right? Anyway, the little conversation is over, but Raven looks over and is like, bitch, you need to chill out. It is dangerous out here. You could use a pimp. You wouldn't last another night out on these streets. And Sylvia's just thinking, what makes you think I want to stay another night out on these streets? But Raven's just like, what other choice you got? I don't see you juggling. Well, I mean, you're probably juggling balls, but that's about it. Well, Sylvia points out this limo that's rolling up, right? And here rolls in our Richard Gere of the episode, our Mr. GQ or Mr. Moneybags. And it's kind of weird that she's pointing out this limo, because I'm wondering if she's been stalking this dude for a while. Like, why is this your plan right here? Could have had any other one, but no, this, like, you know him? How long you been staking out this street? That it's very curious to me. But anyway, we see Moneybags step out of his limo with this other strange woman who could also possibly be a lady of the evening. Maybe Mr. Moneybags has a thing for the street workers, or he wants to, I don't know, make a housewife out of a hoe. Who knows? But Raven just looks at her over, and again, she's just telling Sylvia she's fucking daydreaming. She's like, bitch, what are you thinking? You just a hoe, right? And like, ain't nobody wants you. You can't even get a date tonight. Come on. But Sylvia has the confidence, okay? She ain't taking no for an answer. And she's just like, well, what has she got that I don't got? And Raven just points out the obvious and like, him. she's got him, you over here. And it's, again, Sylvia's just like, bitch, I got this. Raven just like, okay, show me what you got. And this part is just makes no sense to me. So Sylvia walks out into the sidewalk, and Big Daddy Kane is just kind of posted up on the streets, making sure his women are working tonight. So she sees Big Daddy, and she looks at him, gives him this weird, like, confused, oh, I'm sorry kind of shrug. And it's just, what is this? What the fuck does this shrug say, right? It's just like, is this peacocking? So Big Daddy Kane sees her do this fucking, oh god, she must have like a kink in her neck or something. He's all concerned. He's like, oh shit, she need help. I better help her. And she goes walking over to Big Daddy Kane, rubs his chest, starts flirting with him and all this shit. And she lures him into this alleyway. And Big Daddy Kane's all excited now. He's like, oh shit, I knew you'd come around, sweet thing. All right, let's talk a little business. And she pulls out this little handgun from her clutch, right? And it's like, oh shit. She's like, yeah, let's talk a little business. And she's robbing Big Daddy Kane. And he's like, whoa, 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 bitch. You can't just be robbing pimps out here. You ain't gonna get away with this. And she starts stripping him down of all his jewelry and shit. And she's like, give me the watch. He's like, oh, baby, come on. Not the watch. Take anything but the watch. If a pimp don't got his watch, what good is a pimp? He can't keep time. But dude, it's just like, give her the watch. She's got a gun pointed at your other jewels. Give it up, alright? But I guess Big Daddy Kane's been watching too many self-defense videos, because as he's giving up the watch, he tries to take the gun from Sylvia, and that it does not go well. He grabs for the gun, and it's just a pop, pop, pop. Down goes Daddy. It's like, dude, you could have lived through this. You got a streetwalker holding you at gunpoint. You have women making you money. You could have just went out and bought new jewelry. But nah, you had to try and prove a point, and it didn't go well. Well, anyway, Big Daddy Kane is dead, right? And Sylvia just comes running out of the alleyway, and she goes up to Ray, and she's like, I guess you'll freelance now, honey. And just books it out of there. Well, now we cut to a pawn shop, because we're going to try and get some money off of this pimp jewelry that we just got last night. And now we're introduced to another interesting character. It's the pawn shop owner, who's played by Britt Leach. And you may recognize this guy from Silent Night, Deadly Night, which we've mentioned before, interesting enough. He's also been in The Great Outdoors, and he's been in Weird Science. So you may recognize him. Well, Britt, he plays the pawnbroker tonight. And God, this guy, he just looks like a beaten down, divorced dad of two, and he's still making alimony payments and shit like that. He's got some nasty teeth too, almost like the Santa Claus from episode 2. So the pawnbroker's looking over this jewelry, and Sylvie starts wandering around the pawn shop looking at all the stuff, and she starts to notice all this voodoo stuff, masks, the tiki dolls and all this shit. And it's just like, I know people have weird hobbies, but a white pawnbroker in the Bronx being a voodoo doctor is it's a little interesting. But anyway, as he's looking over the jewelry, in comes this old crazy lady with a beekeeper hat, and she's all in an uproar and shit. She rushes the counter. She's like, you stole it! And she swipes everything off the counter and just runs out, right? It's like a drive-by caning. And I mean, I've seen some crazy shit happen in a store, but this was kind of this was first for me. But Sylvia thinks this is fucking hilarious. She's just over in the corner giggling and shit. She looks over and I'm just like, I didn't know you were a teen idol. Yeah, fucking right. So after all that crazy commotion, Sylvia's just trying to get the rundown of how all this works. So she's like, what, I got 2 months to redeem my shit if I want it back, or how does this work? And Voodoo Doc over there just says, well, you got 4 months plus 12%. That's if I was gonna buy this from you. And she's like, what the fuck? What do you mean? And he looks at her, he's like, this shit is hot. If it was any hotter, I'd burn a hole in my hand. You could fry an egg on this bitch. And she's like, what are you talking about? It's clean, it's good. It's like, no, he's been in this business long enough to know when a woman like this comes walking in with this much jewelry, it was not obtained legally. So he just tells her off. He's like, I ain't buying your shit. I ain't buying your story. Get the fuck out of my store. So she grabs up all of Daddy Kane's blood money and starts walking out. She's like, fine, fuck you. But Voodoo Doc stops her and says, wait, I want to buy something else from you. Ooh, interesting. What does he want to buy? But she looks at him. She's like, I quit that game last night. I don't do that anymore. He's like, no. Yeah, Ah, gross. No, I don't want that. Like, I want to buy your beauty. Like, oh, my beauty, right? Yeah. What was I thinking? But yeah, the voodoo doc is gonna offer her 10 grand to buy her beauty. She's like, oh shit, 10 grand? Damn, okay. Most I made in one night was like $5 from a crazy German doctor. 10 grand? I'm in. So he lures her into the back room and he's gonna make a mold of her face to capture her beauty, right? So as he's mixing the voodoo goo, you kind of see him whisper something over the bowl, and he's kind of just like stirring the pot, and he's just he just might be really into this. He's getting his rocks off or something, but she's not paying attention. She's like, ooh, I got money, I don't give a fuck, do what you want. But with this, it's pretty much the same as pawning off jewelry. You have 4 months plus 12% if you want your stuff back. She's like, all right, whatever. It's not like I'm gonna want this back, but okay. So he gives her the voodoo facial, which he doesn't give her any straws or breathing apparatuses. While he does this, he just kind of raw dogs it. I'm like, ugh. There could have been a better way of doing this, but you're the voodoo guy. What do I know? And so she gets her 10 grand. She's on her way, but we see him doing more weird shit in the back room. It just like, it looks like he's about to just let it all out. And we also see he has a Tim Burton's Corpse Bride in the back room, which I'm surprised Sylvia didn't notice this during the facial. It's like, it's right in front of you from where you were sitting. How do you not see this? But he's got this Corpse Bride, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing with this? This is kind of gross. I know you're into voodoo. I hope you're not into that. Okay, this is getting weird. Well, anyway, Sylvia's got her 10 grand. Now it's time to put Operation Undercover Hoe into plan. Right, so let's cue the pretty woman montage. I'm looking at you, Lawton. Yeah, Sylvia, she's got her 10 grand. She's buying new clothes. She's getting her hair did. She's getting her nails done. She's getting everything, right? Now that Sylvia looks like a high-end woman of the night, we see her enter Mr. Moneybags' penthouse. He's having a party tonight, and again, how much does she know about this guy? She knows his limo schedule. She knows what floor he lives on. What else does she know about this guy? How long has she been staking this out? This is borderline obsession at this point. But anyway, well, she walks into the penthouse and she's kind of just scanning the room. Actually, she's mean mugging everybody. Everybody's kind of looking at her all disgusted and shit. Like, ugh, still looks like a hoe. But she's scanning the room. And she finally narrows in on Moneybags over there, who's, again, chatting up another strange woman. So you kind of see the fetish that he's got, right? And Moneybags looks over at the front door and notices Sylvia as well. And just gives the doorman a little up nod to let her into the party. And so Sylvia goes waltzing through, grabs some champagne, kind of playing the whole mystique, right? It really captures Moneybags' attention. And he follows her outside to the balcony, and they finally meet one another. And they just kind of have this awkward back and forth chit chat, blah, blah, blah. And Sylvia makes the comment of, don't you think it's a little rude to ignore your guests to make a pass at another woman? Moneybags just like, what do you mean make a pass? I don't even know your name. And she finally introduces herself, Sylvia Vane, Vane, as in weather. And he replies back with Ronnie Price, as in everyone has theirs. I'm just like, oh, bleh. Like, ew, dude. Oh, God, that is cringe. That is, ugh. Anyway, they introduce themselves, and just, I forgot what brought this up, but out of nowhere, she just fucking slaps him in the face and walks away. And he's just like, what are you, psycho? She replies with, just playing hard to get. And you just see that look on Ronnie's face like, oh my God, new kink unlocked. I love being slapped. I must have her. And so he chases after Sylvia, and you see the elevator open, and they start, I don't know, I kind of forgot the conversation of it. It was just really fucking boring to me. But the thing that caught me on all of this was the elevator stood open for 30 fucking seconds. I actually timed it. It was like, no, that never, a 30-second timer on an elevator door is fucking ridiculous. Oh, right, the conversation. Now he's like madly in love after that bitch slap. And he's like, oh wait, I don't even know the first thing about you. And she's like, that's where you're wrong. You do know the first thing about me. See, I'm the woman of your dreams. And that's just another moment for me. It's just like, oh God, this writing. They just kind of fall in love, and after the 30-second elevator, it closes and they fucking there. I don't know what. So fast forward 4 months, they're still happily together. Sylvia's taking a bubble bath. He comes in with expensive jewelry to buy her affection, pouring her champagne. Again, very pretty woman bullshit. And he's just like, hey, you remember 4 months ago when you said you were the woman of my dreams? Well, you were right. And she's all happy and giddy and whatnot. She's like, oh, I finally got the life I wanted. And she looks over in the mirror and smile suddenly fades from her face. And she's like, oh no, what is this? Oh, wrinkles. Like, yeah, bitch, skin wrinkles. Get over it. So now we cut to like a bedroom scene of Ronnie just kind of putting his big meaty claws all over Sylvia, and Sylvia's just like not into it. She's still just looking at her face and all the aging that's happening. And just like overnight, the next morning, she's sitting at her vanity looking for that 80s beauty cream that gets rid of wrinkles and shit like that. And Ronnie's talking about, oh, I gotta go out of town for a quote unquote business trip with some Texans. You know he's gonna go see some more hoes, right? You know this guy has other lives and other pretty women just all throughout the states. Like he's fucking rich as hell. So Ronnie's out of town and Sylvie's all upset, right? She doesn't know what the fuck's going on with her face. So we make a doctor's appointment. We jump to the doctor's office. Sylvia's dressed in, I don't know, she looks like she's going to a funeral or some shit. She's got her face covered, all dressed in black. In comes Doc. Doc starts giving off the test results and stuff like this. And he's saying, well, first of all, it's not the big C, so we're good there. But have you had any plastic surgery? Have you had any injections? And have you had any procedures like this? She's like, no, what? No, I'm fucking natural. Look at me. I'm beautiful. He's like, well, plastic surgery can give you these types of side effects. So it's like, you gotta tell me or I can't help you. She's like, and she flips open her cowl. She's like, look at me. He's like, oh God. She looks like she's 69 years old. Nice. She flips open the veil and she's like, 48 hours ago, I could have had any man I want. Now I can't even get arrested. First of all, 48 hours. That's how long it took to go from beginning to Crypt Keeper. Yeah. Second of all, what do you mean you can't get arrested? Just because you look old? There have been plenty of old people who've gotten arrested. I mean, haven't you ever heard of Ed Gein? Dude was old as shit. Arrested. Also, wasn't he executed? Whatever. But so doctor's kind of talking about what's going on, trying to explain this. Meanwhile, he can't look Sylvia in the face because she is just repulsive. And he's just like, well, can you think back to a time that maybe you were exposed to a radiation or something? Like she's trying to get superpowers from the Simpsons power plant or some shit. But it finally kind of clicks in Sylvia's head. She's like, voodoo bitch. She realizes that it was the voodoo facial that she got. She storms out of Doc's office, runs down to the pawn shop, comes barging in like the old lady from before. Now it's Sylvia's turn. And she's yelling at this lady, get out. She's like, don't do business with this man. He's a fucking crook. Comes running up to the counter, slams down the money and the ticket. She's like, here's your money plus 12%. Now give it back. But Voodoo Doc's like, I can't do that. You didn't follow the rules. I said 4 months from this date, and that was the 4th. Today is the 5th. You're 1 day late. Ooh. I mean, we've all been there, right? We've all been a day late on a payment. Can't you just like, I don't know, write a cashier's check or something? Like, just work out a deal. And she's not backing down from this. She's like, this is bullshit. You're giving me my fucking beauty back. So she pulls out that little gun from earlier. She holds Voodoo Doc at gunpoint. She's like, give it back, you fucker. How much? And the price just skyrockets from there. It's now $100,000 to get her shit back. Well, luckily, divine intervention plays a hand in all this because in comes NYPD's finest, looking for his pawnbroker buddy to share a nice Irish coffee with. Because, I mean, what else are you going to do in the morning besides spike your coffee with a little bit of whiskey? So Sylvia goes rushing out back to the apartment, starts literally robbing the place blind, starts breaking everything, grabbing all the jewelry, finding money in giant vases and shit. And while she's destroying the penthouse, Ronnie's now coming back from his business trip and catches her. And he's just like, who the fuck are you? What are you doing here? But again, last he saw her, she was young. Now he just sees an old crazy bitch robbing the place. And Ronnie just says, you stay right there. I'm calling the police. Like, anyone who's robbing you is just gonna stand still politely while you call the police? No, dude. And that shit holds true because Sylvia, again, Jenny from the block, takes out her fucking gun and bop, 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 shoots Price. And Price gets shot and drops to his knees, but I guess the bullets don't faze him at all because he's just like all angry. He's like, who are you? I'm Batman. He asks, he's like, who are you? And Sylvia looks at him and says, don't you recognize me, lover? I'm the woman of your dreams. And shoots him like 8 more times like Willem Dafoe from Platoon. boom, Ronnie drops dead. Sylvia gathers up all the jewelry, all the cash, everything, and runs out back to the pawn shop. The pawn shop's closed. So she runs around back, sees this wimpy little padlock, and she's like, oh, I guess she still has her strength, because she grabs this trash can and just gives it 3 good doom, 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 and breaks the world's weakest padlock. I'm surprised you kept your pawn shop open this long if people can break in that easy. Well, she's combing through the back rooms trying to find her mold, but now she comes across the corpse bride from earlier. However, it's not a corpse anymore. It's a beautiful woman. And again, don't know what Voodoo Doc's deal is with this thing. So the Voodoo Doc comes creeping up behind her and he's like, oh, she's as beautiful as the day we were first married. So this is his wife. And he's been taking all the beauty, the magic from the molds that he's making. He's taking all that beauty and putting it back into her. That's all it's doing, is making her beautiful again. I don't think she's alive. So it raises the question, it's like, what the fuck are you doing with it? Why do you still have this? Also, how are you masking the smell of when she decays? Like, this is kind of leaning towards gross, okay? But yeah, Sylvia gives Voodoo Doc all the jewelry and all the money, and she's like, here it is. That's more than $100,000. Now give it back. Give me my beauty back. And she fucking looks like Deadpool now. Like, she looks like a nutsack. And Voodoo Doc's just like, I can give you your beauty back if that's what you really want. And I guess they have instant news because he pulls out a newspaper and it's the front page of Playboy iced by gold digger. It's a picture of Price and a picture of her. Well, guess what? When she ran out that night, she dropped the fucking murder weapon. So they were able to put fingerprints to her face because I guess she had a rap from a few years ago or whatever. So she's known for lascivious acts and her face is going to be everywhere. The moment they see her, boom, she's done. So it's either get your beauty back, get arrested, get the death penalty, or age until you're dead. Either way, you're fucked. Well, Cop Buddy comes rolling back in because it's time for their scheduled booze party. So Sylvia, she finds her mold and she carries it out. She's all depressed and defeated. She's like, I don't know what else to do. So she's walking down the streets and she runs into her old coworker and Raven knocks the mold out of her hands and oh no, boom, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. And Raven just looks over at her and she's like, watch where you're going, you trifling old bitch. Like, I love that line. It's delivered beautifully. And Raven just goes waltzing off to make some more money that night. She's freelance now, honey. And meanwhile, Sylvia's trying to pick up all the pieces and put them back together again, but not happening. Beauty is gone forever. That's it for Sylvia. But Crypt Keeper's not giving up because he's going to try and apply a new skincare routine to himself to rejuvenate his look. So he's got this Acme jizz cream to give himself this facial, but ultimately he kind of realizes that it's just not gonna work for him. And he gives off some great puns again, and he's like, if looks could kill, so she did. You know, it's that whimsical comedy coming from the Crypt Keeper. Yeah, he's terrifying, but he's got real personality to him, and that's what I love most. As for the episode, it's not the best, but it's not the worst either. It's just kind of middle of the road for me. The acting was all good. Pacing seemed to be all over the place, but in actuality, it was written that way to seem speed up because that's how fast the aging is progressing. So it does make sense. The story's written out pretty well, but for me, it's just not as captivating as some of the other ones that come later on or came before it. Honestly, I have to rate this about a 6 out of 10. Again, nothing just captured me in this. I wasn't invested into this episode as I am into others. It's not one that I'm going to hold dear to my heart or anything like that. And again, it's not bad. It was directing was great, acting was great. Like all of this stuff, it comes together. But hitting the mark just didn't do it. And I'm just giving my personal opinions. You guys, you know, feel free to give me your own on what you thought of this episode. But for me, I'm not going to give it that high of a score. And as you probably noticed, I have tried out something a little different in the beginning. I'm still fine tweaking certain things, so let me know in the comments down below what you think. If you like the episode, give it a like, Subscribe if you aren't. You know, the whole YouTube algorithm bullshit. We say to push out the videos. But again, I hope you enjoyed the episode. I hope you're enjoying the series as much as I am right now. We're getting very close to the tier list that's coming up. I'm trying to stay on schedule with these. Sometimes it's real life stuff is just getting in the way. But I will try and make it a point to get out at least one episode each week for you guys. Hopefully in the future I can do more than one episode a week. But we'll see what life brings us. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.